You motherfucking tube. It's your boy Rallo Jenkins. Just wanna touch on a quick vid right quick, man. And first of all, let me give a shout out to my homeboy. Good looking out on the beer mail. You know who he is. Got a good ass package in the mail today. So of course I'm sitting here sipping me some good beer. About to get ready to send one to my homeboy D Styles down there in Texas. So I want to ask a question. And this and what's funny is actually what made me even think about this, or what brought this to my attention was I was watching one of the Carcino's rap beef videos, and he brought up the point when he was talking about MC8 and DJ Quick, talking about how the guys could have came together and made music, being that they're both were from Compton, but it fucked up each other's marketability based on the fact that one was a Blood and one was a Crip, and of course the solidarity that the Bloods and the Crips show with each other, they wouldn't fuck with the other. So let's just say, for instance, you had 10,000 Bloods and 10,000 Crips in various parts of California. If you're a Crip and you mess with DJ Quick or Blood, I'm not sure which one was which, but I'm just for the sake of this conversation. If Quick was a Crip and you fuck with Quick, then you obviously wasn't buying MC8 albums or messing with his music at all, and vice versa. So to them, it was more about principle as far as the Bloods and the Crips go. So my question is, and this is my question here, as a whatever it is that you are, a man, a male, if you're a pimp, fucking husband, an employee, an employer, a neighbor, a friend. The question is there a threshold for everything? And what I mean by that is monetary. Is there a certain amount of money? Let's say, for instance, I know if I came up to anybody and said, hey man, I gave you $10, let me fuck your wife, 99% of people would say, hell no. But if I said, obviously I don't have this kind of money, but I give you 10 million to fuck your wife for one night, that percentage of motherfuckers who gonna say no is gonna greatly decline from $10 to 10 million. But what's the threshold? Like, at what point is the money not worth compromising? And vice versa, when is it more important to get the glory of something than it is the money? Let's say, for instance, obviously for a guy like Miguel Cotto, beating a guy that you already fought because he's never lost, it would be big, no doubt about it. But you could just as well lose again in the same fashion. Now I assume that in his mind, maybe beating Canelo wouldn't be as big as beating the guy that you already fought. But in the history, the rich history of Mexican versus Puerto Rican, and the money is not going to be that different. What's the threshold? When does the option, when he's weighing on a scale, I can make more money or I could get more respect. Will he get more respect for beating Canelo from his Puerto Rican fan base? Or will he get more respect from his Puerto Rican fan base for doing the rematch with the guy who never lost? I mean, to some degree, what's more important? If you, let's say, a fighter like Deontay Wilder, is it more important to navigate your career and keep the O and, you know what I'm saying, possibly build up to a fight with, let's say, Tyson Fury? Or do you take a chance with a Klitschko because, I mean, you're going to make good money, but you get a chance to make history. I mean, you get a chance to get up there and be a legend like the Alis, the Foremans, and the Lewises, and the Johnsons, and the Tysons of the past. You know? You get a chance to make history. But if you make a $5 million for one, 7 for the other, like, at what point do you wait? I mean, I know it's different for each individual. You know, that goes without saying. Some people are always going to take the money over the glory. But at what point, as a fan, do we acknowledge the glory over the money? Because as a fan, we don't get none of that shit. We don't get I mean, I don't know if y'all do. You know, maybe somebody might get certain YouTube hits or something and make good money. That's a possibility. But for most fans, we want to see the glory. We want to see the fighter who goes and puts it on the line. And that doesn't necessarily mean go out on your shield inside the ring. I mean, because you could still get in there and fight like a bitch. But at some point in time, don't you got to kind of go for the glory and not necessarily the money? I mean, and to what degree as a fan, no matter how extreme you are, do you expect a fighter to fight for the glory and not the money? It's just kind of interesting when I think about it. Because in reality, let's say, for instance, obviously, there are certain fights that we all would like to see happen. You know, outside of the checker cab colored unicorn fight that everybody wants to talk about, there are a number of other fights that we're dying to see happen. Andre Ward, Gennady Golovkin, Andre Ward, and anybody at 175. Triple G Cotto, fucking Kovalev Stevenson, Abner Mars, fucking Rigondeaux and Santa Cruz, Gary Russell and fucking Salido, you know, Lomachenko and Walters, motherfucking Gamboa and fucking Juan Manuel Lopez. Oh man, that's so funny. I just had to throw that one in there. But I know that everybody wants to build shit up. But when you handle business inside the ring, doesn't the money come eventually anyway? Because the way I look at it is, if people don't give a fuck about you anyway, the money ain't gonna be there. And if people give a fuck about you, the money kinda always gonna be there. And the only way you gonna make more money is if they give a fuck about the person you fighting as well. So I know that there are some fans who are mesmerized by the amount of money that one fighter may make, the opportunity of the possibility of making a lot of money for some fighters that fans care about. But what is the real path? Is it the money or the glory? Does your path to money lead to the path of glory? Or does the path of glory lead to the path of money? And what's the threshold? At what point, at what scale, how far of a divide does it have to be where it's actually an issue? And how close does it have to be for it to not be an issue? Because for me, when I look at the Canelo Cotto situation, the money to me, it seems, was pretty much there. And all of the glory that you could possibly need as a Puerto Rican, being a fighter, was there. Why in the fuck did anybody listen? Cotto had the biggest fight Cotto had was when he fought Antonio Margarito the first time. That was the biggest fight of his career. And he lost it. And there was nothing shameful about the way that he lost. He fought his ass off. He just got broke down by a different type of fighter, man. There was something different about Margarito. The dude had a chin like nothing else. A relentless pressure like nobody has ever seen. But I was a big fan of Cotto then, and I was a big fan of Cotto after. But this new shit he been on, that shit don't make me a fan. That shit don't make me a fan at all. That shit only made me start to not give a fuck about Miguel Cotto. And I know I could be in the minority, but I'm kind of curious to what some other people feel about the threshold of glory over money. Do you always take the money over the glory? And at what point, what threshold? You know, when, let's say, a fighter is faced with two options. He can fight this guy for X, or he can fight this guy for supremacy. And whatever supremacy that may be. It may be in a weight class. It may be ethnic grudge match, a personal beef, you know, whatever the case may be. So I just want to know, what would be the threshold? Are we talking a matter of millions, thousands? Or do you just always take the glory? Or do you always take the money? I want to know what y'all think. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Holla at your boy.